have the license plates. You can't see them, but they're across the way. And I have the first responder license plate. So it's the American flag, and it's got the blue line and the red line across the middle. And when this plate came out, I bought it. And so this plate is twofold. And depending on who you are and how you think, you may think that my priority is one over the other, but a couple things. So that's a first responder. So when you get it, you support public safety. A portion of that goes toward firefighters, police officers, whatever else, right? I bought it because it's just a cool looking license plate, because I have a vanity plate. And so I want people to know that I am VF1SNSX or My Fat X or Hard Parking, which it is now, or FX50 V8, right? I don't buy it to make a statement. And I mean, I have another one, Jay-Z, that was on my little Z, and it says empower on the bottom. Like, that's like a DEI thing almost, right? Empowered. I'm so empowered. I'm empowered because identity. I'm empowered. No, I bought it because it's black and it says Arizona and J space Z, J, my name, right? And Jay-Z sticks out. Only reason I bought it. But I switched to hard parking. And of course now the classic plate is on there now, but I have a dear friend of mine who challenged me on that plate years ago. This is 2020, so it's kind of the height of the George Floyd stuff, right? The defund the whole police thing and that whole movement, whatever, regardless of what you think about it. I think defunding the police is a huge mistake, but we could spend our money other more creative ways to make everybody better, right? But that's just my opinion, and you're going to get it. But he challenged me on having that plate because it's like, you're supporting the current administration, or you're saying that, blue lives matter over black lives. I'm like, no, dude, what are you talking about? And this is a friend of mine from probably one of the most liberal states in the union, and probably one of the most liberal cities in the union. So you take that as it is, but we've never let that come in between us. But to be challenged on my vanity plate choice, not the customization, just the plate choice, right? And it's kind of like this whole tribal thing. And, Wes Tankersley and I were talking about this today, about the American flag. I'm proud to be an American. Our country isn't perfect. If you don't like what's going on, wait 4 years. It's going to change, right? Because different administrations come and do their own thing. And there's not a lot of things that a president or an administration does that actually personally or financially impacts most of us, unless you're own big business or you do all this other stuff. Like, most of the stuff, the decisions they make that goes through legislation, it doesn't really impact us. But what impacts us is what we see, what we feel, what we believe to be right versus wrong, and those are all valid things. I think we're in a dangerous place where you're either with me or against me. And when it comes to the American flag, I'm proud of my country. I'm proud of my flag with all its faults, but I shouldn't be not ashamed, but I shouldn't be scared or concerned about wearing a American flag t-shirt or flying an American flag at my house. Maybe I'm a military veteran, which I'm not, but it's almost become a badge of like a hate symbol. And I think if you think that way, we should take a step back and evaluate. Nothing is cut and dry. And that's what I said when Jay was on here. It's like, you have to be willing to at least have a conversation with somebody. And if you don't want to have that conversation, then maybe you need to take a break and start evaluating what is important to you and where do you want to draw those lines. Because I've gotten into some really good debates with some dear friends of mine. And at the end of the day, we agree to disagree. And there's times where I am convinced, or my mind has been changed in lieu of new information. And there's times where I've changed other minds, but none of it happens on social media. And I think that's the danger for all of us. But that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, from the controversial part about going to Barrett Jackson. At the end of the day, it had nothing to do with Barrett Jackson, but it was my friend Weston wearing his Make America Great Again hat. And the way I felt about that, the way I know other people feel about that. And we just need to take a step back, let processes take place, examine every bit of information available to you, because sometimes there's stuff out there that you just don't see that could help add important context. So you can still feel the way you feel, but you need to have that context there so that at least you're more informed. And I've said this before. I'm the same way where sometimes I have to stop and be like, am I being controlled? Am I being navigated down a certain path to feel a certain way? The answer is yes, but you want to at least think that you can have some kind of control over it. And you can have control as long as you step back and evaluate everything. You know, it's like we talked about the Renee Good thing, and two things can be right about the same situation, and we're still learning stuff. And at the end of the day, my main point remains the same in that situation. It never should have happened. She should have never been there. She should have never been part of this anti-ICE group. It's not her fault. I don't blame her. It's the media, it's the system, it's the environment that's been gaslighted by both sides, Republicans and Democrats, and the media. And at the end, the people are the ones who kind of get screwed. And, you know, depending on what you watch and what you link your narrative to, it ultimately determines your like and disdain for other things. Like, I found myself really, really, really disliking people that I've never met before. And I have to check myself like, wait a minute, I don't even know this person. I just know the stuff that I've seen them say. And as someone who tries to embrace the full conversation, I think if you've been with this podcast, you at least respect that enough of me to know that I can convince myself and I can convince other people that there's two sides to every story. There's right, wrong, or indifferent. There's always more information, and it is important for you to evaluate that when it's available and then ultimately make your decision. You know, was this right? Was this wrong? Was this morally wrong? Was this legally right? Was this legally wrong? And at the end of the day, whoever goes to court outside of the court of public opinion, they ultimately have the burden of proving guilt or innocence, and nothing that we say matters. All it does is add to the court of public opinion. It tells people where you are at the current time with your mindset. And unfortunately, it also can fracture friendships and relationships. And that's the part that is the most dangerous.